Hey everybody, welcome to Top 10 Thursday on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and it's time for the top 10 first pickable commons and uncommons in Eldritch Moon. Now, of course, when you open your pack of Eldritch Moon, if you're like me, you jump on back to the rare and you see what's in it. Is it something amazing? Do you have a Gisela? Do you have something just absolutely incredible? But a lot of the times you don't, and you need to take a look at those uncommons and commons because a lot of them are very, very first pickable. But we're going to jump right on into the list. Up first, number 10, we have Boon of Emrakul. Boon of Emrakul is removal, and it's relatively decent removal at that. It does only hit X3s or lower, however, it still can kill a lot of the stuff in the format. There's not that many 4/4s or higher than that, but there are some that you might want to handle. Now, it does have a slight downside compared to Deadweight, because Deadweight you could throw on a 5/5 and make it a 3/3, and that might have been the correct play sometimes. This, if you throw on a 5/5, you're going to make it into an 8/2. Yes, 8/2, that's how math works, which is not something you want to see on the other side of the battlefield, usually, unless you're going to follow it up with a Galvanic bombardment or something. So it does lose a slight bit of usability in exchange for being slightly more killy by doing -3 instead of -2. There's a lot that I'll pick over this, but in some weak packs, I'll certainly pick a Boon of Emrakul. So number 10, Boon of Emrakul. Up next at number 9 is Lash Lurker. So the secret is out. Blue-green Emerge is an incredible deck in this format, quite possibly the best. And people didn't really seem to know that for the first week or two. Cards that were really important to the deck were being wheeled. You were getting them back around when you opened them and didn't take them for some reason. And I took advantage of that. I played a lot of blue-green Emerge in my first few drafts and did very, very well with it. But secret's out. Everybody knows about it now. And Lashweed Lurker, which really could have been Wretched Griff. Both of them are incredibly good, but I did have to pick one, so I went with Lashweed Lurker because I really, really like bouncing to the top of the library. But just the fact that you get to have a 5/4 and you get to just bounce on the top of the library, plus if you did this on a Foul Emissary or an Exultant Cultist, getting extra value out of emerging off of something like that, there's just so much value in there. It is 2 colors, but it's not that big of a deal to draft a 2-color card first when it's the best color combination in the entire format. So number 9, Lashweed Lurker, could be Wretched Griff. At number 8, we have Prey Upon. Prey Upon was my very first pick in my very first Eldritch Moon draft. Prey Upon is just as solid as it was the first time around in original Innistrad. You don't need fancy stuff when you cast a fight card. You don't need +1/+1 or +1/+2. You don't have to have all this crazy stuff going on. 1 single mana for sorcery speed fight is really, really good. I have first picked it. I will continue to first pick it. It's quite solid. Number 8, Prey Upon. Number 7 is Choking Restraints. Pacifism's pretty good. Who knew? I'm still hearing people say, well, it's not that good because people can emerge and then they get value off of it and you lose your Choking Restraints. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you put Choking Restraints on their bomb and they have to emerge off of it, which they would not have done otherwise, they would have emerged off something less important to their game, then it still killed the creature. You still got to kill it. So I totally disagree with that reasoning that this loses any value because Emerge is in the format. Plus, Emerge is only in 2 colors and somewhat in black, although there's not too many, and they're not as good as blue-green. So I don't buy it. Choking Restraints, I'm very happy to first pick. Number 7, Choking Restraints. Number 6 is Somber Waltz Stag. I hesitated on this one just a little bit. It's good, but that 3 toughness is definitely a problem. Frequently, what you want to kill will kill the stag as well, meaning that you're just playing a 5-mana sorcery speed kill spell, which, I don't really like that. Plus, you can get totally blown out if your opponent just goes, well, +1/+1. Then you lose your stag and you paid 5 mana for nothing. That being said, there are still a ton of situations where you cast the stag and you get to kill a 2/3 or a 2/2 or something and you're left with a 4/3, and that's some good value for 5 mana. So Somber Waltz Stag, totally fine first pick. I hesitated on it, but there's very few packs where I wouldn't first pick it if there wasn't, premium removal in the pack. So number 6, Somber Waltz Stag. Number 5, we have Galvanic Bombardment. Shock is also really good. Surprise, surprise. I like first picking this because then you can immediately start prioritizing the second copy and the third copy and the fourth copy when you see them. Nothing hurts quite as much as passing a Galvanic Bombardment and then passing another one. And then that third one comes around, and at that point you know that you could have had 3 bombardments, and now you might have 0 if you don't take that one. Plus, you know somebody else is now going to be potentially thinking about picking them up. So yeah, not hitting players is of course a downside, so it's not quite shock, but the fact that, you know, the second one's a lightning bolt and this third one is instant speed firebolt just becomes really, really good. So definitely first pickable in a pack where the other removal is not quite as good. So number 5, Galvanic Bombardment. Up next at number 4 is Foul Emissary. I'll have to go back to my set review, but I'm pretty sure I was a little bit down on him to start with, and it's probably going to be one of the cards that I was somewhat wrong about. You know, as I said, the cat is out of the bag on Emerge. Emerge is one of the best decks. This is one of the amazing Emerge targets. It used to wheel. You used to be able to get this 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th pick sometimes. Generally, it should not do that anymore. It's ideal at the 3-drop slot, so you can go 3-drop Foul Emissary, 4-drop, 7-drop Emerge creature, and just, you know, go to town. You get a 3/2 Eldrazi out of it when you emerge it, plus you get to filter through your cards and find that Emerge creature that you want to cast. There's just so much value on this guy. He's a massively important part of the best deck in the format. I was really sad when people started to learn that they should probably pick him more highly. I'm going to be even more sad when people realize that they probably should kill him pretty quickly. If he comes down, you should kill him right away. Your opponent's not playing him for fun. They're playing him because they're an Emerge deck. So yeah, number 4, Foul Emissary. At number 3, we have Geist of the Archives. I knew that I would love this card the second that I saw it. It's basically half of Thassa from Theros. You don't get Thassa's activated abilities, and it doesn't become a giant indestructible god creature, but you scry every turn. Plus, it's an 0/4, which blocks a ton of stuff in the format, outside of, you know, late game bomb kind of stuff. Just scrying every turn is so much value. It's absolutely amazing. I value this thing so highly. I first pick it over a ton of stuff in the format. Obviously, number 2 and number 1, I would first pick over the Geist, and some rares I would first pick. But otherwise, I am jamming that Geist of the Archives into my deck. Pack 1, pick 1. So number 3, Geist of the Archives. At number 2, we have Clear Shot. Rabid Bite was great and solidly first pickable in Shadows over Innistrad. Clear Shot tacks on 1 more mana, but the increase is so much more than 1 mana worth. You get +1/+1, and you get instant speed, and that's a massive, massive, massive boost. There's so much that you can do with this card that I would snap first pick it in almost every pack, unless the rare was insane. The number of times that I've blocked and presented a trade, and then when nothing was cast, I cast a Clear Shot, saving my creature, killing their creature because my creature's +1/+1 now, and shooting some other creature. I've done that at least a half a dozen times, and it feels so good for 3 mana at instant speed. It's an insane combat trick. It's awesome removal. Number 2, Clear Shot. Finally, at number 1, you should all probably know what this is. It's Murder. It's easy first pick over many of the rares, probably the majority of the rares. You should first pick Murder instead. This is as cheap as we get unconditional instant speed removal these days for 1 black. This is first pickable over basically everything in the set that isn't, you know, bomb crazy creature. You know, you're not taking Murder over Gisela. You're not taking Murder over giant things or things that are going to win you the game instantly, but you're going to take it over basically everything else. So number 1, Murder. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the top 10 first pickable commons and uncommons in Eldritch Moon. Let me know in the comments down below what I missed. I didn't include some things because I only have 10 slots. There was massive competition for the bottom few slots for sure. So let me know what your favorite missing one is down below. Let me know what your favorite one is, even if it's on this list. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeak. That's LEEK, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeak and Twitch.tv/TheManaLeak. I hope to do more live streams once this insane heat wave breaks here. It is currently 32, says my fan, in my apartment with the lights and everything set up. Yeah. It's a little bit difficult to do live streams, but as soon as it cools down even slightly, I will be back on there because I am loving Eldritch Moon. It's going to go down as one of my favorite draft formats for sure. Anyways, please click that thumbs up icon if you like my content. Click that subscribe button if you want to see more. And if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.